Hi, Shep Hyken here, excited for another look backstage with another all-access pass to the 50-year history of contemporary productions. And you know, back in 1969, Steve, a big concert happened. It was called Woodstock. It completely changed the whole world of concert promotion. And I'm sure you were able to ride a little bit after that, help things out. Tell us about that.
Well, we were lucky that that happened because you're right, it did change the whole, acts started touring. They weren't just doing big festivals, but they were on the road. And there was a guy, Mike Quatro, he was a keyboard player back in the 60s, out of Detroit, late 60s. They had a couple of hits. He had one called Circus. He also had a sister, Susie Quatro, that had some hits back in the day too. And he was the promoter of this show. It was him and Russ Gibbs. And they called us because Shelley Grafman, who was running KC Radio, said there's some local guys here that could really help you on the ground, boots on the ground. So we got a call from Mike Quatro. He says, Steve, we got your name from Shelley Grafman. Would you and Irv be willing to help us? I mean, we were helping him put these handbills out at schools. We go to Clayton High School, to do high school, our neighborhood, at U City High School. And it was a show. The whole idea was a sit, stand, do your thing, indoor Woodstock, because it was hard to repeat Woodstock. The cost was so expensive. So the indoor Woodstocks took place like in Detroit and St. Louis, Chicago, and they'd go inside of a theater like, well, this one was at Kiel Auditorium, which is now Scottrade. And the acts, well, we had Country Joe and the Fish, we had our own Chuck Berry, we had Rotary Connection, which was managed by my friend Irv Azoff, and then a bunch of local bands. Actually, my band at the time was called The Merge. And we were on the show, so I got a chance to be one of the acts. And then other acts from St. Louis, like the Aardvarks and Pox, the same band that we had with when we did Chicago up in Springfield, Illinois. So this was our indoor Woodstock at Kiel Auditorium. And I love the handbill because we're like, multicolors. He was such a promoter, Mike Quatro, and a big inspiration to me and Irv in the early concerts that we did, mostly in St. Louis.
Wow, great story, the indoor Woodstock. Well, I hope you enjoyed this backstage story. Come back next week for another all-access look into the history of contemporary productions.